Hello, today we are going to practice the English language, and our main topic is going to be about anime and AI because I just saw a news report from South China Morning Post about this topic, and we can see here that there are a lot of people struggling in the anime industry because they say that they're not getting paid as much and it's not as rewarding because not a lot of people seem to know that they are the ones who are working, and it's only the guys at the top who are making money and getting famous and things like that. And then there is this introduction of the AI tech that seems to be making things a lot better supposedly in terms of efficiency, but there are people who are complaining because they want the process to be handmade, to be done by human beings and not just some AI tech, which makes us wonder whether really if people are complaining about not getting paid as much and not getting famous, and then they're also complaining about AI getting most of the work done a lot faster, then what is their solution actually? Is it because they are not getting paid, so they want to get more money? And is it because they are not getting famous, so they want to get more famous? And yet, because there's so many of them, the economic point of view here would tell us that if there weren't a lot of anime creators or any of these artists, then a studio, for example, won't be able to just get talent. But it seems that there are so many people that actually can do the job, and that's why their pay is so low. Now, with regard to not getting fame, I think it's also tied to the fact that there are so many people who are willing to do the job, who are capable even of doing the job. So I think that if you would want to get a high paying job, it has to be something that not a lot of people can really do. And then if you want to get famous, you want to get some kind of recognition, I think it's also tied to that. Because if there are so many people who can do it, then what's the point of getting recognized for having done something like that, right? So I think that's why people who can, for example, create a studio where there are so many people who can work together and produce some kind of output. I think there are not a lot of people who can do that. That's why they get the money and the fame. Now, with regard to I think that it's supposed to make things a lot better because if you are doing the art and you have to do these frames several times, I think sometimes you end up working too much and putting a lot of effort on something that could be done by AI tech or some kind of computerized tool. Because, for example, if you were to draw a box that is gonna move from left to right, you have to do it one by one, right? If you don't use any computer tools, each frame would have to be done one by one. But if you have a tool that can help you do that, what it will do is it will move the box from left to right using the position of the box, of course, and then the end position, and it will create the tween for you, and that makes a lot more sense actually. Or what I mean by that is it's gonna be a lot more efficient, so you can work on tasks that the computer isn't doing, right? So I think that's the explanation to that. Also, the problem about the money aspect. There are so many artists who seem to believe that that was the past. That was what was the situation decades ago. But right now, it's not supposed to be the case because we have so many of these tools like the digital tablets and all these fancy software also to help us out, and because we have these tools, we can do so much more and so much better. And yet they're getting paid but not getting paid as much because they also have to pay for the software, they also have to pay for the digital tablet, and so they're incurring a lot of expenses. And if you think about it, maybe it's really because the guys behind the industry want to sell these gadgets, these devices, and you are buying them thinking that you'd make money. But just like with movie production, you'd figure out that they are definitely selling computers and software because when people see that, they think that they could do so much better, they'd want to do it themselves, and maybe they can do so much better actually, in fact, but it's not gonna get a lot of views, not get a lot of people paying them, giving them money. Because at the end, what the industry wants is to continue to sell these software, these computers, right? So, just like with the video game industry, the best game doesn't necessarily win because they are all trying to sell something else. They're using the video game as an example of how the technology can be used, and when a lot of people see that it's not as good, they can do so much better, then they'd want to try it and do it themselves. And to do that, they'll have to buy the computers, they'd have to buy the software, and that's pretty much how the industry seems to be making money. Although, from the news reports as well, so many studios appear to be not getting that, and that's why they are struggling. A lot of them are shutting down, laying off so many workers, and we got this problem of video games aren't aren't as interesting anymore actually. So it seems to be going down and spiraling downward as a result of trying to sell software and computers. And so what is the solution? I think that from what I'm doing, I'm creating software, creating video games, for example, without the intention of making a money out of them, using my free time. Because underneath the objective of coming up with some kind of computer game or some kind of software is the idea of being able to get more people to use the computer and buying the computer software and getting the hardware also to do those things. And how am I getting money? In fact, I am promoting the idea of learning how to use these things, because if you know how to use these things, eventually you'll find me. Maybe you'll find my channel along the way and realize that, hey, you gotta learn the nits, the standard. How do we make use of this software to help us become more efficient? Which means that one person can do four times the work that another person can do without these tools. And in that way, you can do so much more, maybe something less creative or even non-creative, we may say, and that's how you can make money. And because you have been able to accumulate quite a sum of money already, you'd have time for something else, like creating some of your creative projects that you don't necessarily intend to make money out of, contrary to what so many other people are trying to do. Alright, so I think that should be enough. Thanks for joining me. We'll see each other soon. Hello, today we are gonna practice the English language. Actually,